What's up, YouTube? What's up, YouTube? It's your boy back with another one. People, in today's video, we want to discuss Operation Dudula and March for March and what they're doing, preventing illegal immigrants from accessing clinics and hospitals. Is this legal? Is this right? Is this humanity? Let me know what you think about this topic in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. You know, we family, right? Holler. Now, people, here's the thing. Being illegal in a country we all know is illegal, is not right, is a crime. We know that for a fact. Totally, we get it. Some people, not all, some people are running away because they are being persecuted in their countries. Like, for example, we know certain governments are critical and are harsh and they stun, imprison, and sometimes they even murder critics who speak up against them. And that's a fact. And certain people need to be protected, especially if they are whistleblowers and especially if they are fighting for the rights of the citizens. Now, most governments would never call out other governments for their wrongdoings. So, in that case, would you treat such a person as a villain? Would you deny such a person access to healthcare if they really solely need it? I don't think so. Because if this person is fighting the good fight for the citizens, even if it's not for South African citizens, but it's for their own citizens, and they are being hounded, hunted, and persecuted for their fight for freedom or liberation from a liberation. Does it make sense? Because the government fought for liberation. And now that they have the liberation, they've decided to, I don't know, recolonize the population. And now the citizens have to fight another liberation struggle to uncolonize the recolonized. Does it make sense? Anyway, so going forward, Operation Dudula and March March have now decided they are going to block any illegal foreigners trying to access any form of medical attention from clinics and hospitals, including old people, sickly, the elderly. I don't know if they will prevent pregnant women from entering too, because hell, man, that will be another level of, I don't know, hate, if you have to call it that word, right? Because there's no other way to put it, right? Now, South Africans have a legitimate right to complain because the system is extremely overburdened. And we know that for a fact, right? We totally know that. So here's the thing. I would like to take a different perspective on this very important topic. Now, for most of us, you just walk down your street and you go to your local shopping center. I can almost guarantee you 100% that without a shadow of a doubt that you can count the number of South Africans on the streets now, right? Some neighborhoods, you can even count the number of South Africans living in a certain street, because in a lot of neighborhoods now, especially middle class neighborhoods, most houses are being occupied by foreigners, and most of the houses are not being occupied by one family either. It's like a group of foreign nationals, normally from different countries. Sometimes it's from same country, but in most cases, most streets would have been in the past. You'd have a street that is fully only South African families, maybe one or two foreign families in a street, but the majority would be South African families. Now, you can go to an entire street that probably possibly doesn't even have a South African family living on that street at all. So that just shows you the overwhelming number of foreigners that are in South Africa. And that is totally unfair, to be honest. Now, well, I am against this thing of shutting out illegal people from accessing medical health care, right? Or medical care. My thing is, government should take the blame for all of this, right? Because government has decided to do away with the borders. So therefore, there's a free movement of goods and people, right? Be it legal or illegal. Now, that's fine. In the broader scheme of things, that's the ideal Africa that we want, right? Free movement from Cape to Cairo. Africa must have no borders. I totally get it. I'm with that. Me, excuse me, I'm all for that. I want to be able to walk from Cape Town all the way to Cairo, all the way to Cairo, because I believe that Africa should be one. Now, because I believe in Pan Africanism and one Africa, one unity, one parliament, one police, one army, one everything, one currency, and all that, right? That doesn't mean now that we have to all burden one country or take one country's infrastructure and burden that one country when we can spread out. Now, we can't spread out because other countries haven't opened their borders. That's totally unfair. Now, the other African countries need to come to the table and say, okay, look here, look here, look here, look here. We see that South Africa has been overburdened, so we are opening our borders. Some of you can come here as well and for medical attention and seek better life opportunities, right? I think that would be fair. But I also do understand the South African perspective because let's be honest. Now that the borders are open, or porous, so to speak, the African migrants are flocking in by the thousands, if not by the millions, right? I mean, there's approximately 6 million Zimbabweans that have left Zimbabwe, for better opportunities elsewhere, right? And I think the majority of those must be in South Africa. So I'm thinking even a good estimated 4 or even 5 million of those 6 million are in South Africa, if I'm not mistaken, right? But here's my thing. I understand when the South Africans say, where were all these people during apartheid? Where were they? Where were they when apartheid was there and we were being killed and slaughtered by the apartheid government? Where were all these foreigners? Why wouldn't they come in to help fight the fight for us? So that today, when they are here, we can say, stay. Because why? You helped fight with us on the ground. Now, yes, South Africans will say, yes, you guys opened up your country's borders to us and you allowed only a handful Mkhonto Sizwe fighters most of the time, right? Political rebels and that kind of thing, right? And a few South African families migrated because they didn't like the apartheid system and they wanted better education systems for them, and they moved, obviously, right? But yes, but that's the thing I'm talking about right now is like I totally stand with that argument as well to say like, nope, if you could not dare cross the border and help us fight during apartheid, there's no reason for you to be here now. Because when we were seeing flames, you were nowhere to be seen. Now that it's all dandy and glorious and everything, now you want to come in and share the spoils. But when we were fighting for the spoils, you were nowhere to be seen. I am for that argument. Totally am for that argument. When it comes to women and children, I think they should be spared from this hospital thing. Because honestly speaking, as a man, I think unless it's serious, like you need an operation, I think as a man, you can, I don't know, you can go and herbal it out by the rastas, you know? You can go to a Sangoma, you can go do something else. You can, I don't know, go to these herbal shops and all these other pharmacies and stuff. You know what I mean? But for an operation, then obviously, you need, medical attention. Then I think that should be the exception, right? But here's my thing: people, the foreigners that come here, the majority are actually law abiding. Good. I gotta admit that. I mean, we have to admit that. We have to admit that. But the thing is, to be honest, is like things are now shifting. It's like foreigners are now or have now lost respect for South Africans. Like, I promise you, it's things are just changing for the worst. I mean, there are good foreigners. There are great foreigners. And then there are those that now feel that they own South Africa. I mean, it's said that it's that people who come from foreign lands now feel like they own their adopted country, treat the locals like crap, and commit horrific acts of crime, participate in whatever. Now, I'm totally aware that as a local, as a foreigner, you don't have papers, right? You need to find a way to eke out a living. I totally get it. I totally get it. Totally understand it. I'm with you on that one. Totally with you on that. But you don't have to resort to crime. You do not have to resort to crime. And so there comes my argument that because you are now resorting to crime, because you are now doing all these illegal activities, and because, I mean, and I understand that you need to survive. If you do a crime once just to get some sort of money, just to get some food or get yourself on your feet, as long as it doesn't involve murder, then I'm cool with you, stealing money, stealing food, stealing something minor. But hijacking, murders, and drug peddling, and no, we're not cool with that. I am not cool with that, right? So, what I'm basically saying is, if you if you manage to save up, I don't know, 20,000 rand, 50,000 rand, 100,000 rand, surely that's enough to set you up when you go back home. Yeah? I mean, it wouldn't make sense that you're here illegally, you're making hundreds of thousands, you have more than enough money to go start a life back home, and you still don't go back home. Then what are we doing? You understand what I'm saying? What are we doing? People, I know that not every country has the resources that South Africa has, and I'm with that. I totally understand that. Totally, I do. But at some point, you have to go back home. You just have to go back home. I mean, it's said that there is almost nothing to go back home to for some people, right? But with the little monies that have been gathered here, surely you can be able to scrape something together and start something back in your home country. As sad as this may be, I feel like Dudula and Much for Much and the people that are arguing that all foreigners, illegal foreigners, should leave. I feel that South Africans are now justified in saying that because things have now gotten extremely out of hand. And trust me, I was one who used to say South Africans are xenophobic and all these negative stereotypes, but now I realize that no, South Africans are not xenophobic. They just want their country back. That is all they want. It's like they didn't get time to enjoy their freedom. They didn't get time to enjoy their infrastructure. They didn't get time to know each other because of the influx of foreigners. That's a sad case, and that's a real, real sad story. I mean, the relationship between black South Africans and white South Africans, that issue needs to be explored too. And how is this issue going to be explored if there's foreigners in the way? I mean, instead of white South Africans hiring black South Africans, white South Africans are now hiring black foreigners, which also adds to the dilemma and the whole xenophobic fight race issue. And it's just a lot. It's just a lot. Yeah. Let me know what you think about this topic. Was I on the money or did I totally miss it with this one? Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. You know we family, right? Holler.